first came here was in 2000 with my first husband and our 5-year-old dog at the time named Tramp. And my husband, he passed away in 2006. He had a OPCD, and he also had some kind of infection. It shut down his liver and his kidneys. I was staying at the Aranda for a while. There was like too many deaths going on over there, and I found out I'm a type 2 diabetic. And one of the deaths that really hit me was it was on the second floor where I was living at, and the guy had cancer, and I knew he wasn't feeling good and he didn't look good.
Greetings and welcome to Travel Destinations. Before we dive deep into today's pressing subject, let us pause for a moment to contemplate the universal human experiences that bind us all together. Imagine the gentle warmth of a cozy blanket on a bitter cold winter's evening, or the heartfelt comfort derived from a simple meal that satisfies a hungry soul. These modest yet significant moments of solace are privileges that many of us enjoy without a second thought. Now picture a reality where none of these comforts exist. Visualize having no protective roof over your head to shield you from nature's harsh elements, no reliable place to lay your head at night, and no genuine feeling of belonging within a caring community. This stark scenario is the everyday reality confronting thousands of homeless individuals throughout the United States. Today, we set out to explore a serious challenge that demands urgent attention, one that former President Donald Trump needs to help address: the crisis of homelessness. Given his past role as president and his status as a public figure wielding immense influence, Donald Trump has frequently been at the center of debates covering a wide spectrum of critical issues. While policy decisions and initiatives may shift over time, there remains an urgent necessity to prioritize the voices and needs of those who are most vulnerable and facing dire circumstances. We will examine the persistence of this problem, discuss possible policy directions, and consider how ordinary citizens can contribute meaningfully to the solution. Overview of the homelessness crisis. Homelessness in the United States is a long-standing issue, not one that has emerged overnight. Its roots extend deep into the fabric of economic inequality, job losses, health crisis, and the persistent shortage of affordable housing. This problem is not restricted to a single city or state. It permeates major urban centers, from the bustling avenues of New York to the sun-drenched streets of Los Angeles, where tent encampments starkly remind us that thousands of people lack consistent access to shelter, sanitation, or safety. While the numbers of homeless individuals have fluctuated over the years, recent economic disruptions, shifts in the job market, and soaring living costs have significantly exacerbated the crisis in many metropolitan areas. Moreover, the challenges of homelessness extend far beyond simply not having a stable roof overhead. Many individuals facing homelessness also battle mental health issues, substance abuse disorders, chronic physical ailments, and the lingering effects of traumatic past experiences. The complex interplay of these challenges makes it exceedingly difficult for any single solution to fully resolve the crisis. Although local governments and nonprofit organizations frequently provide immediate relief through emergency shelters and food distribution services, a coordinated federal response is essential for creating lasting impact. This is precisely where influential figures such as Donald Trump could potentially play a transformative role. With his ability to sway public opinion and influence policy, a comprehensive nationwide plan could be advanced to yield more effective and enduring solutions. A stable home is far more than just four walls. It forms the foundation upon which individuals can construct a better future for themselves and their families. Without a secure home, people struggle to secure employment, maintain proper hygiene, and safeguard both their physical and mental well-being. Thus, homelessness is not an isolated problem affecting only a small segment of society. It reverberates throughout entire communities, influencing public health, social stability, and the overall quality of urban life. Donald Trump's role and influence. When we consider the potential impact that Donald Trump might have in alleviating the homelessness crisis, we cannot ignore his influential position within political, business, and media spheres. Although the precise details of his current or future policies remain subject to debate, the enormous spotlight that accompanies his name carries considerable weight. Through mobilizing support, advocating for new legislation, or simply raising awareness, prominent leaders can draw national attention to critical issues that might otherwise languish in the background. In doing so, homelessness can be elevated to a matter of national urgency when a figure with such a broad platform decides to place it at the forefront of public discourse. In previous administrations, measures such as increased funding for transitional housing or enhanced mental health initiatives were introduced to reduce homelessness. Yet the problem persists, and in some regions, it has even grown worse. This indicates that more robust and innovative strategies are desperately needed. For example, policies that directly address housing affordability, spur job creation, and offer comprehensive healthcare services are essential. It is insufficient to merely provide temporary relief. What is truly required are sustainable growth and new opportunities that can prevent individuals from falling into homelessness in the first place. Alternatively, he could forge partnerships with private sector real estate developers to create more cost-effective housing units. Another viable strategy might include fostering collaborative efforts that bring together state and federal agencies to offer critical mental health and substance abuse services. However, regardless of the approach chosen, success will depend on meticulous strategic planning, bipartisan cooperation, and a steadfast commitment to addressing the underlying causes of homelessness. Homelessness and the travel documentary connection. At first glance, one might wonder how a travel documentary relates to a discussion about homelessness. Traditionally, travel documentaries capture the allure of exotic destinations, vibrant cultural experiences, and breathtaking landscapes from around the globe. Yet consider for a moment that homelessness is not confined to any one city, region, or country. It is a global challenge that presents itself in diverse ways across different cultures and societies. By examining homelessness through the lens of a travel documentary, we have the opportunity to highlight the stark contrasts between popular tourist destinations and the often hidden realities of life on the streets. This juxtaposition encourages viewers to reflect on the places they visit as tourists, where behind the polished images of luxury hotels and glamorous resorts, there may be local populations enduring severe hardships. Drawing attention to homelessness within the framework of a travel documentary can inspire empathy among a broader audience, including those initially drawn in by the promise of entertainment or cultural exploration. Just as we journey through historic landmarks and explore stunning vistas, we must also take the time to observe and understand the lives of people who remain largely invisible in mainstream narratives. In doing so, we transition the conversation from one of passive observation to one of collective responsibility. Furthermore, from a travel documentary perspective, addressing homelessness not only benefits the individuals directly affected, but also enhances the overall appeal and vitality of the cities themselves. When visitors encounter significant homeless populations in neglected areas, it can create feelings of discomfort and concern. More importantly, it exposes the discrepancy between the polished image a city projects to the world and the harsh realities experienced by some of its inhabitants. Therefore, addressing homelessness contributes not only to the well-being of those in need, but also strengthens the social fabric that supports vital industries like tourism. Historical context of homelessness in America. The roots of homelessness in America are both deep and intricate, stemming from various periods of economic change, migration, and social turbulence. As far back as the 19th century, rapid industrialization spurred mass migrations to urban centers where adequate housing and sufficient employment opportunities were not always available. During the Great Depression, financial catastrophes forced countless families from their homes, leading to the emergence of shanty towns and makeshift tent cities. In the decades that followed, evolving social policies such as the deinstitutionalization of mental health facilities in the mid-20th century also contributed to the growing problem. Many individuals with mental health issues found themselves abandoned by a system that could no longer provide the supportive services they desperately needed, often resulting in unstable living conditions. This contributed to the rise of homelessness in major urban areas, a trend that has continued to evolve with each economic downturn. In modern times, the increasing cost of living, particularly in densely populated cities, has added another layer of vulnerability. The widening gap between wages and escalating housing costs has made it nearly impossible for many families to retain stable homes. Addressing this challenge is not as simple as merely building more shelters. It requires a thoughtful combination of economic reforms, affordable housing initiatives, comprehensive social services, and strong community engagement. While the crisis of homelessness has deep historical roots, influential leaders like Donald Trump now have the power to shape future policies that could either mitigate or exacerbate this long-standing issue. Are we as a society doing enough to ensure that every person has a decent place to call home? Factors contributing to the crisis. It is far too simplistic to attribute homelessness to a single cause, as the reality is shaped by a multitude of interwoven factors. Economic instability, mental health challenges, addiction, the severe shortage of affordable housing, and even domestic violence can each independently push individuals out of their homes. When these factors converge, they create an environment in which homelessness can flourish. Economic instability may arise from unexpected job losses, stagnant wages, or sudden financial burdens such as medical bills. In many instances, a single missed paycheck can be the tipping point between stable housing and homelessness. Even a brief financial setback or an unforeseen life event can trigger a downward spiral, leaving individuals reliant on shelters or forced onto the streets. This vulnerability is further compounded by the scarcity of affordable housing, especially in urban areas where rents are increasing at rates that far exceed wage growth. Mental health issues and addiction often create a vicious cycle that exacerbates the challenges of homelessness. The stress and instability of street life can intensify mental health conditions, making recovery and stabilization even more challenging. Without adequate access to healthcare or community support, individuals can find themselves trapped in a relentless cycle that moves them further away from self-sufficiency. Survivors of domestic violence are particularly at risk, as leaving an abusive environment sometimes means facing the harsh reality of having nowhere safe to go. Donald Trump and housing policies. Housing policy represents a critical area where Donald Trump could exert significant influence in reducing homelessness. Historically, federal housing programs such as Section 8 vouchers and public housing initiatives have provided essential support to those in need. However, these programs frequently encounter funding shortfalls and long waiting lists, leaving countless families and individuals without the necessary assistance. Today's housing market, especially in large metropolitan areas, is marked by skyrocketing rents that make it exceedingly difficult for low-income earners to secure appropriate accommodation. Possible solutions to this problem include increasing the federal budget allocated to housing programs, expanding low-income housing tax credits, and offering incentives for developers to construct affordable housing units. Strong leadership at the federal level is essential to coordinate these efforts effectively and ensure that local communities receive the vital resources they need. For instance, reforming zoning regulations to be more flexible could encourage the development of mixed-income neighborhoods, thereby reducing the socioeconomic disparities that often contribute to homelessness. Another promising strategy involves leveraging public-private partnerships. Given Donald Trump's extensive background in real estate, he is uniquely positioned to collaborate with developers to convert unused or underutilized properties into housing for those in need. While such initiatives would require careful oversight and planning, they hold considerable potential for increasing the stock of affordable housing. It is crucial, however, that these housing initiatives be paired with supportive services such as counseling and job training to help individuals successfully reintegrate into stable living conditions. At this juncture, we invite you to participate in reshaping the narrative around homelessness. Here at Travel Destinations, we are passionate about bringing attention to both global and local challenges to inspire collective action. Whether you are new to our channel or a returning viewer seeking more thought-provoking content, we encourage you to like this video, share your perspectives in the comments below, and subscribe for regular updates that extend beyond typical travel documents. Every like, comment, and subscription helps amplify important conversations and ensures that issues like homelessness remain central to public debate. Your engagement is crucial. Each interaction adds momentum to the movement toward tangible solutions and meaningful change. By subscribing, you become part of a growing community that is not only captivated by tourist attractions or scenic vistas, but is also committed to fostering social change. When you support our channel, you are simultaneously supporting the stories and people who deserve to be heard. Stories from the streets. Homelessness is not merely an abstract policy challenge, or a transient headline in the news. It is a deeply personal crisis that affects every individual who lives without a stable home. Sharing real-life stories helps bridge the gap between impersonal statistics and the profound humanity of those who struggle every day. Consider, for example, the story of Maria, a single mother who lost her job in the retail sector during an economic downturn. Despite her tireless efforts to secure new employment, the high cost of childcare and housing ultimately forced her and her 2 young children onto the streets. Then there is Ronald, a former construction worker whose battle with untreated mental illness, compounded by depression, left him isolated and without a support network. These stories, though deeply personal, are not unique to any one region or demographic. They reflect the heartbreak and resilience of countless men, women, and children who struggle daily to meet their most basic needs. By putting a human face on homelessness, we are reminded of our shared responsibility to care for one another. It is far too easy to dismiss homelessness as a distant problem that affects someone else. However, each personal story challenges us to reconsider our assumptions and recognize that the solutions to homelessness may be closer than we think. Could it be that the most obvious and compassionate solutions lie right within our own communities? Linking homelessness to broader social issues. Homelessness does not occur in isolation. It is inextricably linked with other major social challenges such as education, healthcare, and criminal justice. Children who grow up in unstable housing environments often struggle academically because they lack a quiet, stable space to study, and the emotional toll of their circumstances can be profound. Overcrowded shelters, which sometimes serve as the only refuge for the homeless, can quickly become breeding grounds for diseases, thereby posing public health risks that affect the broader community. Furthermore, interactions with law enforcement can escalate when people experiencing homelessness are forced into public spaces due to a lack of alternatives. These interconnections highlight that solving homelessness requires coordinated efforts across multiple sectors of society. Healthcare professionals can offer vital mental health and substance abuse treatments, while educators can provide specialized support for children facing housing instability, and law enforcement can focus on maintaining public safety without criminalizing the homeless. In this light, it is clear that addressing homelessness requires a collaborative, multi-sector approach. Businesses and local charities also have a crucial role to play in these efforts. For instance, corporations can adopt hiring practices that offer second chances to individuals who have experienced homelessness, even if they have gaps in their employment history. Local nonprofits can partner with government agencies to provide targeted assistance, ranging from job training to mental health counseling. Every segment of society has a vested interest in ending homelessness because stable housing is the cornerstone of stable families, communities, and overall societal well-being. The role of travel documentary narratives in raising awareness. One may wonder why we incorporate the concept of a travel documentary into our discussion of homelessness. The answer lies in the timeless power of storytelling. The well-crafted travel documentary does more than simply showcase beautiful destinations. It captures the essence of human experiences as they unfold in diverse cultural and geographic settings. together the issue of homelessness within the narrative of a travel documentary, we can reach audiences who might otherwise be interested solely in entertainment or cultural insights. Imagine a documentary that guides you through iconic American cities, not only spotlighting famous landmarks or hidden treasures, but also shedding light on how homelessness influences the character and challenges of each locale. Such an approach would both educate and move the audience, evoking empathy and igniting meaningful conversations about social responsibility. This perspective underscores that homelessness is not confined to one particular area, but is a universal issue calling for a collective, solution-oriented mindset. Using the travel documentary framework provides a global perspective showcasing how homelessness manifests differently across various countries. Some nations might offer robust social safety nets, while others rely heavily on nonprofit and grassroots initiatives. Presenting these diverse approaches can spark innovative ideas and encourage cross-cultural learning. By merging travel with social commentary, content creators can inspire viewers to see themselves not just as tourists, but as engaged global citizens dedicated to positive change. The ultimate goal is to elevate the conversation from passive observation to active collective responsibility. Addressing the issue of homelessness requires a multidimensional strategy that encompasses a variety of measures. These measures include increasing funding for supportive housing, broadening access to health care, and implementing robust workforce development programs. One particularly effective strategy is the housing first approach, which posits that providing stable housing is the essential first step before addressing other issues such as mental health or job training. Research and experience have shown that once individuals secure a stable home, they are much better positioned to pursue employment, education, and improved well-being. Another promising strategy involves establishing emergency rental assistance programs that help prevent evictions before they occur. This proactive approach can be both more cost-effective and humane compared to providing assistance only after someone becomes homeless. Current efforts and their limitations. At present, numerous nonprofit organizations and local government agencies are working relentlessly to support homeless communities. Emergency shelters offer temporary beds, soup kitchens, serve nutritious meals, and outreach teams provide essential supplies such as blankets and hygiene products. While these interventions are crucial for immediate relief, they often fall short when it comes to addressing the long-term factors that trap individuals in cycles of homelessness. Many shelters are chronically underfunded and overcrowded, and their staff frequently lack the specialized training or resources required to handle severe mental health or addiction issues. Local zoning laws can also hinder efforts by preventing the construction or conversion of buildings into affordable housing units. Additionally, public sentiment sometimes leans toward NIMBY, not in my backyard, attitudes, complicating the establishment of new facilities aimed at helping homeless populations. Without a robust, centrally coordinated effort, these well-intentioned local measures can only achieve limited success. Leaders with national platforms, such as Donald Trump, have the authority to harmonize local initiatives with broader policy reforms, ensuring that resources are allocated efficiently and best practices are shared across regions. It is also important to recognize that some individuals experiencing homelessness may be hesitant or resistant to certain interventions. Issues of trust, mental health struggles, and the psychological impacts of trauma can lead individuals to avoid shelters or social services. This reality underscores the importance of having trained outreach teams that are dedicated to building relationships over time, taking the time to understand each individual's circumstances, and offering choices rather than mandates. Transitioning to solutions. A common misconception is that homelessness is an insurmountable issue that cannot be significantly reduced. However, numerous models from around the world demonstrate that with determined effort and a carefully designed strategic framework, real progress is achievable. It all begins with acknowledging the multifaceted nature of the issue. Any lasting solution must integrate economic, social, and health support systems, all of which must be tailored to meet the diverse needs of individuals. Effective solutions are best guided by empathy rather than by punitive measures or neglect. By contrast, solutions based on empathy and support, such as safe parking programs for those living in their vehicles or ensuring easy access to mental health services, can provide a viable pathway out of homelessness. Donald Trump or any influential leader could use his platform to highlight and support these proven methods, encouraging their broader adoption. With dedicated efforts and adequate funding, both states and municipalities can invest in these models and tailor them to local realities. The question is not whether it is possible to significantly reduce homelessness, but whether there is enough political and societal will to do so. While it is tempting to place the entire burden of solving homelessness on politicians and policymakers, community involvement is equally critical. Volunteers who generously donate their time at shelters, mentor youth, or contribute to job training programs can make a profound difference in individual lives. Faith-based organizations often act as community anchors, offering both spiritual guidance and practical resources such as food pantries and transitional housing. Local businesses can also contribute by donating surplus inventory or implementing hiring practices that give a second chance to those who have experienced homelessness. Grassroots movements, neighborhood initiatives, and online fundraising campaigns can help foster a sense of shared responsibility among community members. Although these efforts alone may not completely eradicate homelessness, they play a vital role in creating a culture that views homelessness as a challenge we must collectively address rather than a distant policy matter. When top-down political initiatives are combined with robust bottom-up community action, a dynamic synergy is created that can break down long-standing barriers and foster sweeping change. This combined approach ensures that solutions are grounded in real-life experiences and that the voices of those most affected by homelessness are heard. Donald Trump has long commanded substantial media attention, and with that attention comes the power to set public agendas and shape the discourse. When a highly visible figure directs focus toward a specific issue, media outlets and the public are likely to follow suit. This dynamic can have both positive and negative consequences depending on how the issue is framed. When used responsibly, media attention can galvanize public support for addressing homelessness and shine a light on programs and policies that are making a real difference. Media coverage can also influence voter perceptions, potentially encouraging other political figures to prioritize the issue. Political will often develops in response to the demands of constituents, and sustained media coverage helps ensure that homelessness remains a topic of national importance. By consistently discussing homelessness and sharing stories that humanize the crisis, leaders can pave the way for more constructive conversations and eventually meaningful policy reforms. Sensationalist coverage can reinforce harmful stereotypes and further stigmatize homeless communities, potentially fostering resentment instead of compassion. Responsible journalism, guided by factual accuracy and empathy, is essential for informing both policymakers and the public. If Donald Trump chooses to prioritize homelessness, he should encourage media outlets to adopt a balanced and nuanced approach that melds data-driven analysis with real-life human stories. It may seem unusual to mention travel documentaries a second time in the context of social issues, but the broader perspective is essential. Documentaries that blend travel narratives with explorations of social issues expand our horizons not only geographically, but also emotionally and ethically. By traveling through diverse locales and observing how various communities address homelessness, we gain insights that transcend national boundaries. Perhaps there is a city in Scandinavia that has found a unique way to integrate supportive housing with comprehensive social services. Maybe a community in Southeast Asia has developed a grassroots initiative that effectively addresses mental health challenges for those living on the streets. These travel documentary-inspired insights can serve as catalysts for cross-cultural learning and inspire innovative adaptations of proven methods in different contexts. By showcasing not only the scenic beauty of a place, but also its social solutions, we elevate the conversation beyond mere tourism. We begin to see the world as a vast laboratory of ideas, where every region offers valuable lessons that can be adapted and improved upon. Is it possible that there are international approaches to tackling homelessness that could be beneficial if implemented in the United States? While immediate policy actions are essential, long-term solutions to homelessness also hinge on educating future generations about empathy, responsibility, and the importance of social welfare. Schools can incorporate service learning projects that encourage students to engage directly in community efforts aimed at assisting homeless populations. Such hands-on experiences help young people develop a profound sense of civic duty and compassion, shaping their views on social issues for years to come. Youth engagement is powerful, not only as a moral imperative, but also as a critical investment in sustainable change. When young people understand the complexities of homelessness, they are more likely to grow up as advocates for innovative policies and compassionate solutions. They learn to see homeless individuals not as faceless strangers, but as fellow members of our shared community who deserve dignity and opportunity. Reimagining educational curricula to include homelessness awareness can help dismantle harmful stereotypes and encourage future policy debates to be rooted in empathy rather than fear or disdain. Leaders like Donald Trump could use their platforms to endorse educational initiatives that foster social understanding. Providing funding, grants, scholarships, or launching nationwide programs could help integrate comprehensive homelessness awareness into school curricula. By supporting these programs, influential figures send a clear message that empathy and social responsibility are top national priorities. Over time, this educational shift can cultivate a more informed electorate that demands effective, compassionate solutions from its leaders. Mental health and substance abuse services. No thorough discussion of homelessness is complete without addressing the critical role of mental health and substance abuse services. Many individuals who experience homelessness have endured severe traumas, from childhood neglect to the psychological scars of combat, and often resort to self-medication as a coping mechanism. The lack of accessible mental health care only exacerbates these issues, making it even more difficult for homeless individuals to regain stability. Comprehensive services that encompass counseling, psychiatric care, and rehabilitation programs are essential for both preventing and reducing homelessness. Innovative approaches such as integrated care, which combines physical health, mental health, and substance abuse treatment in one accessible location, have shown promising results. By streamlining access to these services, integrated care minimizes many of the logistical and emotional hurdles that often discourage people from seeking help. Unfortunately, funding for these essential programs tends to be inconsistent and inadequate. Leaders like Donald Trump could advocate for legislative measures that expand Medicaid coverage or introduce new provisions specifically aimed at bolstering mental health and substance abuse services. Enhanced funding and policy support would provide significant benefits for homeless populations. Furthermore, supportive housing programs that pair stable housing with on-site mental health services can be transformative. Once individuals have a secure place to live, they are more likely to adhere to treatment plans, participate in job training, or reconnect with their families. The economic argument for addressing homelessness. While many are driven by humanitarian concerns, others respond more strongly to sound economic reasoning when it comes to addressing homelessness. Effectively tackling homelessness brings tangible financial benefits to society as a whole. For instance, untreated homelessness can lead to increased emergency room visits for preventable conditions, costly law enforcement interventions, and heightened public sanitation expense. By investing in preventive measures such as affordable housing, expanded mental health services, and comprehensive job training programs, communities can ultimately reduce the need for expensive emergency services. Local businesses and even the tourism industry stand to benefit as well. Cities burdened by high rates of homelessness may deter tourists and business travelers, negatively affecting local revenue streams. Addressing homelessness not only improves public safety and the overall environment for residents, but also contributes to economic growth and prosperity. This economic rationale is another point where a travel documentary perspective can be enlightening, as it offers insights into how cities balance the promotion of tourism with the implementation of robust social programs. Donald Trump, well known for his business acumen, could appeal directly to these economic benefits. Donald Trump and bipartisan cooperation. Homelessness is an issue that transcends party lines. Neither Republicans nor Democrats have a monopoly on solutions, and the crisis affects communities under both conservative and liberal leadership. If Donald Trump is truly committed to addressing homelessness, he has a unique opportunity to foster bipartisan cooperation on the issue. By partnering with Democratic lawmakers who advocate progressive social reforms and Republican lawmakers focused on fiscal responsibility, a meaningful legislative package could emerge. Such a bipartisan effort might involve combining measures to enhance housing affordability with expanded mental health services and workforce development initiatives. Securing the necessary budget allocations would undoubtedly require negotiation and compromise, but with a shared commitment, it is not an insurmountable challenge. Bipartisan cooperation can break the cycle of short-term measures that are often reversed by successive administrations. Instead, it can help establish a stable, long-term framework for reducing homelessness. This is not merely a theoretical possibility. Historical precedents in American politics show that when leaders from opposing parties unite on a key issue, significant policy breakthroughs can be achieved. The key is to frame homelessness as a shared moral and economic challenge rather than a divisive political wedge issue. Donald Trump, with his extensive following and influence, could help shift the national narrative toward unity and practical solutions. Emphasizing common ground and focusing on effective, compassionate policies could pave the way for enduring change.
Public opinion is an immensely powerful force that can drive political action. When a majority of voters view an issue as urgent, politicians are far more likely to respond with substantial policy proposals. Yet, homelessness sometimes suffers from public fatigue or is misunderstood, causing it to lose priority in national discussions. High-profile events or sensational news stories can quickly overshadow ongoing crises, including homelessness. Influential leaders like Donald Trump could help maintain focus on the issue by consistently highlighting it in speeches, interviews, and on social media. Public opinion polls and surveys serve as valuable tools to gauge sentiment and guide policymakers toward initiatives that enjoy widespread support. When the public sees influential figures championing effective solutions, it can shift negative perceptions of homelessness and foster a culture of empathy rather than indifference. Social media platforms also play a pivotal role in this process. Viral campaigns, trending hashtags, and digital conversations can bring extensive attention to homelessness, prompting people to take action. Encouraging a sustained digital dialogue that moves beyond simple awareness to concrete calls for action can lead to a groundswell of community involvement. By sharing success stories and innovative programs widely, communities can inspire other regions to adopt and replicate effective models. Donald Trump could use his platform to amplify these success stories, giving them national prominence. The goal is to scale up proven programs so that isolated successes can evolve into a nationwide movement dedicated to reducing homelessness. For international comparisons, while the United States grapples with homelessness, many other countries have managed to maintain relatively low rates through a combination of proactive social policies and a strong cultural emphasis on collective well-being. In several Nordic countries, for example, a robust social safety net ensures that citizens rarely find themselves without shelter or access to health care. These nations prioritize social housing, mental health support, and unemployment benefits as preventive measures rather than mere responses to crises. Learning from international examples does not mean simply copying policies without adaptation. Every country's cultural and economic context is unique, and any imported solution must be tailored accordingly. Nevertheless, these global perspectives can spark fresh ideas and encourage American policymakers to innovate beyond entrenched paradigms. If a travel documentary were to explore these international models, viewers could witness firsthand how different societies manage to sustain low rates of homelessness. Such insights might inspire domestic reforms that aim to match or even surpass international standards. By framing the challenge of homelessness as a matter of national pride and competitive progress, public support could be galvanized even further. Reimagining the American dream. The concept of the American dream traditionally symbolizes prosperity, success, and upward mobility. However, persistent homelessness challenges this ideal by exposing deep structural cracks that leave too many citizens behind. Reevaluating the American dream to include a fundamental right to safe housing and well-being is both necessary and urgent. When the basic needs of so many go unmet, the promise of opportunity and hope that defines our nation is undermined. Donald Trump has often invoked themes of American greatness and achievement. By extending this rhetoric to include and uplift the homeless population, he could help redefine the American dream to be more inclusive.
In this reimagined vision, the American dream becomes a collective ideal, a promise that ensures every individual has access to housing, education, healthcare, and opportunities for success.
This broadened perspective can unite diverse policy initiatives under a single, unifying narrative. It reminds us that housing, healthcare, education, and employment are not isolated issues, but interconnected threads that together form the fabric of our society. When these threads are securely woven together, society becomes stronger, more resilient, and more inclusive. People naturally look to their leaders for guidance and direction. If Donald Trump were to champion a vision where ensuring that every American has a place to call home becomes a national priority, it could transform the national dialogue and inspire meaningful change. Fostering an ongoing dialogue. The challenge of homelessness will not be solved overnight, nor will it disappear as a result of a single piece of legislation. This is an ongoing issue that requires sustained discussion, engagement, and adaptation over time. Regularly scheduled town halls, online forums, and even televised debates can help keep the conversation alive and evolving. Content creators, including those behind travel documentaries, can revisit the topic periodically, providing updates on progress, setbacks, and emerging innovative solutions from around the globe. Encouraging an ongoing dialogue means not only speaking about the issue, but also actively listening to the voices of those who have experienced homelessness firsthand.
Their insights and lived experiences are invaluable for shaping practical and respectful policies.
Donald Trump could set a powerful example by engaging in open discussions that include homeless advocacy groups and individuals with lived experience. Such inclusive participation would lend credibility to any proposed initiatives, demonstrating a genuine willingness to collaborate and learn. This participatory approach is essential to ensuring that solutions are both humane and effective.
Envisioning a path forward.
While the road to resolving homelessness is undoubtedly long, it is far from hopeless. Every city block where a tent encampment exists also has caring neighbors, dedicated organizations, and public officials committed to the welfare of its residents. Mobilizing these resources in a coordinated and effective manner requires visionary leadership, innovative thinking, and above all, compassion. If Donald Trump were to commit himself to this cause, he could harness these diverse resources by aligning them under a comprehensive national strategy that addresses both immediate needs and the underlying causes of homelessness. Such a strategy would integrate affordable housing, expanded mental health and substance abuse treatment, workforce development, and community-based support services. It would also encourage private sector involvement through financial incentives and moral leadership, reminding everyone that the well-being of our most vulnerable citizens is a measure of our nation's overall strength. A successful strategy would include robust data collection to monitor progress, hold stakeholders accountable, and continuously refine approaches based on empirical evidence. Building a better future for those experiencing homelessness requires an ongoing commitment from all segments of society. Whether through volunteering, donating, voting for leaders who prioritize social welfare, or spreading awareness via platforms like hntraveldestinations, every effort matters. The key question is not whether Donald Trump alone can resolve homelessness, but whether he and every other stakeholder can unite to uphold human dignity and ensure that no one is left behind. Bringing it all together. As we conclude this extensive discussion, let us remind ourselves of the fundamental truths that have emerged. Homelessness is not merely a complex policy issue, it is a profound human crisis that affects real lives every day. We have seen how a single setback, be it job loss, a medical emergency, or the breakdown of a household, can trigger a downward spiral leading to homelessness. We have examined how Donald Trump, leveraging his political influence and real estate expertise, could potentially champion effective strategies to address this crisis. We have also discovered that viewing the issue through the perspective of a travel documentary can shed light on the hidden corners of our society, urging us to confront social issues with both clarity and empathy. Policy solutions such as the Housing First model and integrated mental health services have been discussed, emphasizing that a combined public, private, and community-based approach is essential. It is clear that the conversation about homelessness must be ongoing, adaptive, and rooted in genuine empathy rather than fleeting interest or sensational headlines. Although the scale of the problem can be overwhelming, meaningful change begins with recognition and consistent action. Whether you are a policymaker, business leader, volunteer, or simply an individual who cares, your contributions are significant. Together, we can imagine and work toward a future where the term homelessness is replaced by a reality in which every person enjoys the basic rights to housing, dignity, and hope. Let this conversation not end here. Your participation, whether by sharing this video, starting local initiatives, or urging influential figures like Donald Trump to act, is crucial for building the momentum needed for lasting change. Travel documentary closing note. As we draw our journey to a close, let us return once more to the spirit of a travel documentary. Even though our focus today was on the critical issue of homelessness, the essence of travel inspires us to keep our hearts and minds open wherever we may go. May that same spirit guide you to engage actively with your community, understand its challenges, and contribute to its solutions. At Travel Destinations, our mission extends beyond merely showcasing famous sites. We are dedicated to exploring the human condition across the globe, shedding light on both beauty and adversity. Thank you for joining us on this meaningful journey of ideas and reflection. Remember, every step taken toward understanding and empathy makes our world a more welcoming and compassionate place. Fun facts about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States, is one of the most controversial and recognizable figures in modern politics. Beyond his political career, there are many surprising and fun facts about him. Hollywood fame. Before entering politics, Trump was a household name due to his real estate empire and reality TV show The Apprentice, where he famously said, "You're fired." He even has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Wrestling cameo. Trump is the only US president who has appeared in WWE wrestling events. In 2007, he participated in a Battle of the Billionaires match at WrestleMania 23, where he tackled WWE owner Vince McMahon and shaved his head after winning a bet. Fast food lover. Despite his wealth, Trump has a well-documented love for fast food, particularly McDonald's. He once said he preferred it because of the consistent quality and cleanliness. First president without political or military experience, Trump was the first president in U.S. history to hold neither a prior political office nor a military rank before assuming the presidency. golf enthusiast, Trump owns several luxury golf courses worldwide and has been known to play more than 300 rounds while in office.